Hello and welcome to Business Today Television. I am Siddharth Zarabi, and with me today here at the BT studios at GoaFest' is Ravi Santhanam, the Chief Marketing Officer of HDFC Bank. Welcome, Ravi, to the BT Multiverse, as we like to call it, part of the India Today group. And thank you very much for your time, because interesting time to be having this conversation. 3 years of disruption, all manner of disruption, and for you, as the Chief Marketing Officer, a disruption due to technology, the customers seeking a new experience, a change experience, and HDFC Bank has done quite a bit over the last 2 years. Where do you stand today in terms of what you had set out to achieve 2 years back on the digital journey of the bank, Ravi?
Thanks, Siddharth. Thanks, Siddharth, for the opportunity to have a conversation with you at this GoaFest'. The first thing is 2 years back, what we set out as an opportunity, primarily due to COVID, is while transactions were digital and origination was not digital. So the biggest challenge that we all took up is how can we make the origination digital? How can we actually sell all our products digitally, including for a new to bank customer? And we are extremely...
In simpler ways, sorry for interrupting you, what you're telling the average viewer is that with processing, having a lot of papers and stuff, how would you adapt to a situation where the customer was completely mobile? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Please continue.
So Siddharth, the whole idea is, my strong belief is this is a supply constrained economy, because if I see the consumer behavior, people have moved towards going to the web and the mobile for booking their train tickets, booking their flight tickets, purchasing things on the web, everything. Why banking is not being purchased on the mobile? It is more about the supply that was not available. Maybe the credit decisions were not possible to be taken prior to the India stack being available. Now with the India stack of Aadhaar, account aggregator, all these things available, all credit decisions can be taken on the fly based on the information that the customer is consenting to provide to us. So the whole ambition for us was convert all origination journeys to digital, so that any product of the bank we can provide to the customer in a matter of, say, 5 minutes to 30 minutes. We launched our Express car loan 1 year back. We are doing very well on that, where you can take an end-to-end car loan without moving from your home, 30 minutes flat.
Okay.
We have done it on the credit card side. We have launched it in March. And now we'll do it on the personal loan side, which we'll be launching it in June. And all our acquisition journeys on the accounts, whether it is a new account that you want to open, are all digital now. And digital started to contribute to the bank's acquisition engine, in addition to the big physical infrastructure and the distribution might that we have. And the productivity improvements that we are going to see on the sales side, because the same journeys can be used by our salespeople on the ground, and they're sitting in front of the customer, complete the application form digitally, give the credit digitally, ensure the money is transferred to the account of the customer digitally.
All over a cup of tea.
All over a cup of tea, and you walk off.
Yeah.
So we came very say, before the pizza that you ordered comes, your car loan would have been sanctioned.
Do you offer a pizza like guarantee? If you don't get a pizza in 30 minutes, if HDFC doesn't complete the transaction in 30 minutes, you give me 1% off my rate?
I can do that very easily, and provided the customer gives the consent on the account aggregator framework.
Okay.
Because what India has done digitally, and I've seen a lot of other markets in terms of what people are doing, our India stack is phenomenal.
Absolutely. No one could have imagined.
No one could have imagined
when
this.
The foundation of the India stack was being. You understand consumer sentiment and our markets, and India is multiple markets within. Please explain to me, and if you agree with this, but my impression is that there is a lot of reluctance in a certain age profile to do stuff digitally or electronically. Yet that same age profile is very happy signing multiple papers, giving photographs, writing half their name and signature across the photographs. What is it really? Is there a fear of digital adoption that is perhaps holding back progress in certain segments of consumers?
See, I think it's a question of time. And if I look at my father, for example, he's 83-year-old Siddharth.
Okay.
And he never used an ATM card in his life, which maybe 8 years back he started. Today he's using Pays app of HDFC Bank, and he's scanning and paying. It takes time for people to get convinced. We need to convince them of the safety and the security in which these things are being done. And once they get convinced, the adoption is there. And if I look at any other profile, we don't see that difference. It's a question of a little bit of education that we need to do, taking care of heavy investment in technology to ensure the consumers are not defrauded, whether it is the ad fraud, whether it is the other frauds that keep happening. How do you make sure that you invest in technology to enable those frauds do not happen? And how do you make it convenient for customers? And you will see this going big time in the next 3 years.
One quick point before I move to the next topic, and this is, what kind of results have you seen as a consequence of what you've been doing in terms of overall online transaction? What's the growth that you have witnessed?
See, the way I would put it is, we have converted marketing into a P&L function. From a cost function, we have converted marketing in the bank as a P&L function, and that's the result.
Oh, well, that's something that other marketers should also be listening to. Let me move on to a question that's more specific to the backdrop where we are at GoaFest. And a couple of years back, the bank had indicated that it would spend heavily on digital. And post-COVID, there was a moment which we would now call peak digital. Peak digital has waned off. We are also back to some amount of traditional mix. So how's the mix looking like now? What are your thoughts on allocation as far as ad spends are concerned? What's the strategy that you really want to follow?
And Siddharth, this is very dynamic in nature. So for everything, what we have is 3 objectives. What is the business objective? What is the marketing objective? And what is the campaign objective? So when you're talking about taking anything to the market, these are 3 objectives that we pen down, we debate, we agree on all these stuff. And depending on the specific objectives, the media mix is designed. So if I am going to do a festive treat campaign, which is going to be a short burst, 15-20 days during Diwali period, obviously I need reach on day 1. I need sustained awareness creation for the first 10 days. So print comes into play, television comes into play, and digital is used to go ahead and target multiple cohorts with a very specific offer, which is, say, for example, a certain set of customers are targeted with a personal loan, certain set of customers are targeted with an auto loan, and those kind of stuff.
And that narrow casting is primarily possible only in digital.
So we use the multiple media depending on what the objectives we have set for
So
ourselves.
the big blast is print, day 1, followed by television.
Followed by television, because television takes a little bit of time to reach. On print, you get it on day 1. So it's all, again, as I said, it all depends on what do we believe as the objectives that we have. And when you are in a sustained campaign period, creating awareness and consideration, maybe digital is a better way to go about it, because you know your target segment. So you will continuously keep giving them more and more reasons to believe that this is the best place to bank with, this is the best product which HDFC Bank has to offer for them, and slowly creating awareness and consideration, and then they intend to purchase. And as I said, now we have become a fulfilling organization. So how do we convert that digitally, the awareness and the consideration from an intent to purchase to actual purchase?
Ravi, is this now therefore an age of coexistence? TV, digital and print, and specifically in the Indian context, because with every new trend, for example with AI, everyone says the age of AI, everything is going to get blown away. We've seen that with digital. TV has endured. So will it coexist? And can you sort of, not with regard to your strategies, but broadly give us what ratios would apply between these 3?
I strongly believe all of them will coexist. The growth rates will be different. Marginally higher for digital compared to, say, a mass media like a television. Maybe print will be a little bit lower. But if you see the print, even print allows us with the ability to target customers today on their online properties. So when I look at a print, it is not only the physical print media that I look at. As a publisher, if I look at that, I have very specific target segments, because print media attracts a very specific target segment of customers also. So when the match happens about what we have to offer and the print media publishing houses as customers, why not?
Do you look at habits? The question is because print is a habit. You find it difficult to go away from it. But when it comes to digital, attention and time spans are like literally in micro seconds. How do you deal with that as a marketer?
I again have a different perspective on this, because everybody talks about very little attention span and all. But the same customers are spending 3 hours binge watching a series. So it's all digital again. So how do you correlate between the two? I think it is more about the context and the content. If the context is right and the content is right, people will spend hours watching. So it all depends on how as marketeers, how as companies, how as brands we are able to engage with the customer. If people are spending 6 hours binge watching on a weekend, how can we be there during that period of time? How can we integrate within that particular context? And that's a challenge and that's an opportunity also.
Business Today is India's oldest magazine. We have one of the fastest growing digital operations and equally fast growing television operation, which has not gone on traditional distribution but is digital. The question is not on Business Today, but what do you seek from publishers in India as a marketer? What would you like them to do in 2023 and beyond?
See, all publishers have their very special place in terms of the content they create. And what we expect publishers to do is to create fantastic content. And once the content is there is a certain set of segment of customers who are liking that content and they are going to come to us for that particular content. And not every media, every publisher has got similar content. And once you create a content property and you are able to target a set of customers, and if that set of customers is what we want to target, I think there is a natural fix which happens. And that's what we are looking for from every publisher. What is the specialty content that you create? How are we attracting traffic? And what is that traffic? Whether it makes sense for us to go ahead and talk to that particular set of customers.
Ravi, how do you protect your brand from clickbaits on digital?
We are invested heavily in technology, Siddharth, because at the end of the day, we have a lot of technology which allows us to figure out what is happening, who is clicking, what is the IP addresses from where it is coming. And we are heavily invested in technology to ensure that nothing of this sort. We do know that ad frauds are continuously changing ways in which it keeps happening. And we always keep investing to make sure that we catch up.
Okay.
And this is one area where we do co-option big time.
Yeah.
And on security, on safety of brand, on consumer information security, we are willing to cooperate with everybody so that we all learn from each other in terms of what everybody does, what we do, how do we share, and how do we protect our consumers as well as our brand.
Viewers, Ravi also has a telecom background. He's in banking in a behemoth, the HDFC behemoth, which spans the sort of entire space, and he understands this. And therefore, my final question really for today, Ravi, to you. Technology has constantly evolved. I still remember the first SMSs where, retail banking started SMSs. You now have just a little while back, HDFC Bank on WhatsApp, again sending me FAQs on Note Badli, as I call it. And it's a very rapidly evolving world. From an artificial intelligence point of view, do you think that can help you further change the customer experience as far as retail banking is concerned?
That's a good question. We actually use artificial intelligence, AI, ML models big time in the bank. And the bank has invested in these areas way back in 2010, 11, 12 as a small team of people. Today, as a chief marketing officer, I have an 80-member data science team working with me. And that's the investment that the bank has done. And this particular set of people are continuously challenging, looking at the data that we have to figure out which consumer segment, which customer needs to be pitched which product. We call it the next best action. We give it to our sales channels. We use it directly in the digital marketing to communicate with the customers. And that's the phase we'll continuously keep investing. We have analytics in the cloud. We have phenomenal infrastructure, which we use for all this stuff. Another side of it is on the credit decisioning in terms of AI/ML modeling, using the data to take a credit decision. The recent advancements in generative AI is another topic which we are seriously investigating and working on it. We have our beta own products ready in terms of how to use that generative AI. I believe it's early stages. It will change the way we communicate. It will help the way we communicate. It is going to help a lot more on an assisted basis to start with. On the unassisted direct to consumer, I will wait for a little bit more time to see what the technology proves. We did a pilot, and this pilot today, because of the multiple media elements that we have, if we create one creative and we have to copy it and do it in say 140 formats that we have to do for one creative, it was taking hell a lot of a time, and we are able
140 formats, 140, wow,
for one creative. So now if you have to personalize that, then it multiplies further. So now we have used AI, and within a matter of pressing a button, once you have done the master creative, we are able to get all the 140 formats with a lot of suggestions on how to make the formats readable, because each one of them have to have a little bit of a lesser number of words, the proportion of image versus text, everything, the behavioral economics in work that we do, how to ensure that all the behavioral economics, when you're able to put it all into the tool is able to actually reduce the load. So I'll still believe people will be there because the amount of elements that we have to manage now has increased dramatically. But these technologies enable us to do it in a faster pace.
My final question, and hopefully this is going to be a fun question. As a marketer, what are you looking for apart from cricket in India? Because cricket is everything. We see what IPL has done to advertising in this outing. But what do you look for after cricket?
See, I will love football to come in and make it as a bigger wave, because I believe Kabaddi has done a lot of good work in India. The sports as an opportunity for people to spend time has really worked. I will also like a lot more outdoor events which comes up, because most of these outdoor events are able to cater to a very, very specific segment, very, very specific interest.
That's a brilliant point.
And that allows many categories to actually target these outdoor events, because if I'm having a rock show, for example, and if
so you have the core audience coming. That's a wonderful point. Ravi, I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That was the top marketing boss at the behemoth called HDFC Bank, talking to us about lots of thoughts on advertising and media. If you've been, thank you very much for watching.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.